Welcome everybody to MS Office Hours. It is Thursday, September 7th. Let me please introduce our hosts.
Hello, everybody. I am Heather Cox.
Hi there, Stephanie Stevens.
Victoria Dean.
Hey, I'm Garrett Chandler.
And I'm Andrea Sangario.
Victoria was so pumped to wave at everybody. She was excited, and we are excited that you guys are here with us today. Our co-host, Garrett, and Dwayne was happy I teased him in the intro of, Dwayne, I'm new here, Hyatt. He says that a lot inside, and we laugh at him all the time for it. But we are bringing you the remix. It's the Bing Chat Enterprise remix. You know, we used the title Bing It Baby one more time, right? That's what we had before. So we had to, you know, when you have a song and you put out a new version, you call it the remix. So Garrett and Dwayne are going to take that remix for us and give us some additional information from the topic we explored last week. So take it away, boys.
Thanks, Heather. Hey, everyone. Welcome to MS Office Hours. We are talking about Bing Chat Enterprise. And Dwayne, I got to say, man, this is so exciting. It's the first time I get to actually co-present with you. So such an honor.
Yeah, this is cool.
this is going to be great. Hoping everyone can see my screen, and we will kick it off. What we're going to do, guys, is we've got, I think we laid a lot of the groundwork last time. We're going to review a little bit of that, and then we'll just go straight into demos. And Dwayne's got some awesome content lined up, right, Dwayne?
Yeah.
We're gonna do this. All right. So Bing Chat Enterprise, if you have not heard, Bing Chat Enterprise is a flavor of Bing Chat, which was announced back in March, that is designed for enterprise organizations. And now we have released Bing Chat Enterprise for faculty, which is an additional flavor that lights up this Bing Chat Enterprise capability for education customers like yourselves. What's unique about it, though, is that any data that you input into the chat interface, right? Any prompts that you create or any queries that you throw at it, all of that data is protected. So there's what we call commercial data protection behind the scenes, so that none of that data is leaking outside of your organization. Now, what that really boils down to is these other 2 points that you see on the slide, which is that the chat history that you may put out there, we can't see that, right? It's not saved. We can't see it. And we as Microsoft can't even use it, right? We're not going to use that data to train the large language model or the LLM, which you'll hear when we talk about AI a lot. We're not using that data to train our LLMs and make it better. So Bing Chat Enterprise is really designed to give you some trust and some peace of mind that as your end users are utilizing Bing Chat for whatever they may, right? They could be creating lesson plans or just asking questions, modernizing their web search experience. That data is not going to leave your organization. And so we'll talk a little bit about that, but there's a few things that we want to call out to make sure that you're aware of. But before I do, Dwayne, anything that you want to hit on at this, or are we good?
No, this is good. Keep going, man. Keep going.
Awesome. So what I've done is I've put together a little comparison between Bing Chat, what we actually refer to as Bing Chat Consumer now, and Bing Chat Enterprise for Faculty. So I've broken this up into the features themselves and what works in Bing Chat or Bing Chat Enterprise for Faculty. So right off the bat, you can see the top two, they're both using GPT large language models, right? This is the same engine or LLM that OpenAI created and released. I think it was November 2022 is really when it started catching fire, right? We started hearing about GPT 3.5, GPT 3.5 Turbo. Now GPT-4 is right now the most powerful LLM on the market. And Bing Chat is utilizing GPT 3.5 and 4, right? And on both sides, whether it's Bing Chat Consumer, Bing Chat Enterprise, you are using GPT-4 in most cases, right? And we've got the ability to do the AI-powered web search. We'll get you the answers, and we can even do content generation on that. From there, that's kind of where the similarities end. once we move over into the Bing Chat Enterprise, we've got this commercial data protection, which just means that we're not going to leak that organization information outside of your organization. We can't see it again. Chat history is not saved. You'll see that down at the bottom a little bit. Where in Bing Chat Consumer, your chat history is saved. You can go back and reference any previous chats that you put into it. Bing Chat Enterprise, you're not able to see that. You can actually see it if you go in and just go to bing.com/chat. If you sign in with your MSA account, notice here that that's how you would sign into Bing Chat Consumer. It's just your standard MSA account. You'll actually see on the right-hand side all of your chat history. But if you sign in with your work or school account, that's where BCE takes effect, right? Bing Chat Enterprise, you'll hear me refer to it as BCE. And that's when you get the commercial data protection. We're not saving your chat history. We can't use that data, etc. So again, that work or school account, that's supported through Microsoft Entra ID. You want to make sure that you sign into that, and you'll get all of the benefits of Bing Chat Enterprise. But you'll also lose some capabilities, right? The Bing image creator and the visual search capabilities that are actually pretty slick in Bing Chat Consumer. If you haven't used it yet, you got to go play with it because it's really powerful and cool stuff. We don't have that capability in Bing Chat Enterprise. Additionally, you're going to start seeing plugin support coming in. I think it was actually a month ago today. It was August 7th that we announced the first set of plugins available inside of Bing Chat Consumer. Those plugins are not available in Bing Chat Enterprise. So hopefully this gives you a kind of a foundational understanding of the differences between Bing Chat Consumer and Bing Chat Enterprise and where it comes into play. All right, so a few notes and then we'll jump into a demo. The first thing you should know is that for EDU organizations with Bing Chat Enterprise for faculty specifically, you now own this as part of your Microsoft 365 A3 or A5 agreement. It comes at no additional cost to you. It's automatically there. However, there's a little asterisk in that it is only available for faculty members. This is not intended for students. So students are still going to rely on Bing Chat Consumer. It's still accessible to them if you make it available to them. Bing Chat Enterprise is really for your faculty and staff members to be able to leverage. Again, Bing Chat Enterprise is accessible through bing.com/chat. It's also available in Microsoft Edge in the sidebar. You should actually see, if you're on the latest versions of Edge, a little Bing icon up at the top right-hand corner. You click that. Bing Chat Enterprise is going to take effect on top of what was previously Bing Chat automatically. And then coming soon, if you haven't seen, Windows 11 is going to have Windows Copilot built in, which is really just another interface for Bing Chat or Bing Chat Enterprise. And Bing Chat Enterprise is going to automatically take effect on those Windows inside of Windows Copilot. It's not available today. It is available, though, in Windows Insider builds. So if you are using, I think it's on the dev channel today with Windows Insider, you can actually test out Windows Copilot, and now BCE will take effect over that on the Windows side of things, which is pretty cool. Really quick, before I get into some of the other nuances here, know that Bing Chat Enterprise is available today for you to turn on, and Dwayne's actually going to demo how to do that. But we are actually enforcing this to actually be enabled to the entire tenant for all EU organizations across the world on September 21st, 2023. So get ready. You can start playing with it now if you want to turn it on, but it will be forced on you later. And that's really for your own protection. We're doing this to ensure that no organization data is being unintentionally leaked out. It's just a benefit to you. What this means, though, is that your staff and faculty can still use Bing Chat if they wanted to take advantage of things like Bing Image Creator, Visual Search, use those plugins. They would just need to sign in to bing.com/chat with their MSA accounts, right? If they're using Microsoft Edge, open up another profile. They could use another browser, etc. But the default experience soon is going to be Bing Chat for Enterprise.
I want to point out something that you said there, though.
Please.
It's important to remember that the reason why that's happening is because if it's turned on and a faculty member goes to bing.com/chat and tries to use it, it's going to default into Bing Chat Enterprise.
Yep, exactly.
Rather than defaulting into Bing Chat Consumer.
Yep.
Which is the better of the two circumstances, right?
Yeah. Again, it's really for your own protection, right? So another interesting point here, and I want to call this out, and Dwayne and I kind of went back and forth on this, is we want to call it out and know that Bing Chat Enterprise today is not covered under the BAA agreement. So we actually had this question last time. We wanted to talk about it for a little bit. But because Bing, and this is really a Bing service, Bing itself is actually not covered under the BAA. And so because we're just using and interacting with the Bing service, Bing Chat Enterprise is not covered under the BAA. Typically, this is, I would say, actually largely used for HIPAA related data. So I don't think you should be using it, and we wouldn't want you to use Bing Chat Enterprise for any PHI information, right? Anything that could be leaking back to an individual and their health related information. We're not covering that. And so Bing Chat Enterprise has its own set of terms and conditions. However, with that being said, we talk about this commercial data protection, right? And we have this layer of protection that's not fully covered under the BAA, but it is a heightened sense more than Bing Chat Consumer, right? And so we do have GDPR compliance, and there are ways to tweak the experience to ensure that you're meeting that criteria if you're regulated by that or you're held to those standards. But it's not designed, right? There's no HIPAA compliance. There's no FERPA, COPA, SIPA, right? That's why we haven't even really created Bing Chat Enterprise for students yet. There's a whole legal thing that has to happen, right? Our CELA team has to go and review all of this. Students in AI in general, I think, is a little bit of a tricky subject. But for right now, Bing Chat Enterprise is not covered under the BAA. So I think it's, we'll see kind of where the industry takes us and where these products are going. But even if you look at our products and terms and conditions, it's not covered there. So I just want to call that out. Use it for some of the demonstrations that Dwayne's going to show you today, but don't use it for health related information because there is no HIPAA compliance there. Dwayne, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, no, I know that's a really big question. There was some news that came out today that Garrett sent me that I thought was pretty cool, that kind of gives us some confidence in Microsoft's stance on responsibility around AI. So we'll drop that in the chat for you, and I'll pull it up when I share my screen so that folks on the recording will be able to see it. But as it stands right now, that is correct. No BAA, no FERPA, no HIPAA. The advantage here is that the data that you're putting into Bing Chat Enterprise is confidential. We don't see it. It's not going to be used to train the large language model so that other entities can benefit from it. It does stay within the boundaries of your organization.
100%. Awesome. So before Dwayne demos this, I've just got a couple of other call outs here. Right now, what's cool about Bing Chat Enterprise or Bing Chat in general is that, yes, we're using the GPT-4, GPT 3.5 LLM models, but we do have the advantage of leveraging Bing, right? And we can do web searches on top of that. So the data that we are able to expose on top of it is more current than what you would see in competitors like ChatGPT from OpenAI. So I think ChatGPT's limitation today is data as of September 2021, which as of now is almost 2 years old. Bing has more current and relevant information that you can query against. So that's a huge differentiator, especially when you're creating more relevant content, especially for students. And the next thing that we'll talk about too, and this was kind of from our own experience, is that Bing Chat Enterprise does not interact with M365 data. So if you are wanting to pull open Office documents and get it to summarize, a summarize or a summary of the Word doc or interact with Excel data or anything like that, that's not what Bing Chat Enterprise is designed for. That's what M365 Copilot is for. And we'll have some sessions on Copilot here in the upcoming year, but kind of know in your head, it's not going to work quite the way you would expect. And that's speaking from experience. So with that, Dwayne, I'll pass it over to you and you can share your screen and let's walk through a demo.
Yeah, sure. Let me get the thing up. I dropped a link in the chat for all of you to our announcement on BCE for faculty. And on that document or on that announcement, there will be a link that will take you to this page. This page will show you what you're supposed to do if you want to enable BCE today. Go ahead and get it turned on. Or I saw some questions in the chat around how do we turn it off? You'll also get instruction here on how to turn it off if you wanted to. Now, before I can carry on with turning it off, remember what we said. The objective here is to reroute those folks who are going to bing.com/chat from the consumer version of Bing Chat into the enterprise version of Bing Chat. So just think about it like that before you turn it off. So on the page here, you're going to see some options talking about enabling it by default. Garrett slides, and from last week's presentation, we were told roughly September 21st, I believe was the date, that this will be on by default. But if you wanted to turn it on now, there's one prerequisite that you might have to work with. You need to make sure that the search and Bing setting is enabled in your Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So that would be right here under Search Intelligence Configurations. Make sure that this is not turned off. If you're good there, well, then you can keep scrolling on down. You can click this link or type in aka.ms turn on BCE. And that is going to take you to this control. This control is where you could opt into BCE early. This control is also where you could opt out of BCE entirely and turn it off for your entire organization. There was another question in the chat, which is a really good one, on target, good one, is how do we make sure that we only turn this on for specific groups? The ability to do that is supposed to roll out prior to BCE being turned on by default. The way that you would manage who is allowed to have access to BCE will fit right into hopefully a method that you're all accustomed to using. It's going to be a feature that you can enable on your licensed groups. So you will be able to go in here. I do not have it in this tenant, so I can't show you, but it'll just be one more checkbox, just like any other checkbox for any other feature that you might want to not have available to a particular group, or if you wanted to license a particular group who maybe took our awesome AI training, which I will drop in the chat as well for you also. So this is a little training module that your faculty and staff can go through and using AI in education. So check that out. Maybe they have to pass that training before they get access to BCE. You could do something like that using methods that you're used to. Once you turn this on, and thank you, Joe, for letting me do this on our other tenant. So it's now turned on, and on our other tenant, it will take roughly 24 or 48 hours. Garrett and I, yeah, we experienced some weird things.
Yeah.
We did get to a position where we were able to access Bing Chat Enterprise in the sidebar of Microsoft Edge, but not if we went directly to bing.com/chat. Margie asked that question in the chat. I posted a screenshot for you so that you could see that. That was interesting. But it happened. It's fine. And it worked itself out. Now everything's good. I'll be able to prove it here in just a moment. Also on that page, I didn't click it live, but I clicked it earlier. There is that dedicated terms of use for Bing Chat Enterprise that you'll have access to right on the page where you're opting into it. But alongside that, this is the article that was announced earlier. I think it was probably already put in the chat, but I'm going to put it in the chat again. Look at the date on that. I mean, that's today, y'all.
Hot off the press.
It's pretty fresh. Yeah, Garrett messaged me this earlier because, yeah, we've been messaging back and forth quite a bit because we understand where you're coming from. We get it.
Yep.
I spent a long time in education. I understand. The confidence here is that the data stays inside your organization. It's not being used to train that overall larger large language model. So I think that's the confidence. But this is a great article to talk about Microsoft's stance on our commitment to responsible AI, and some good documentation here that you can read through. Not a dig, but just proof in the pudding. I wanted to show what happens if you went to OpenAI and asked it, hey, what's Bing Chat? And it's going to tell you straight up, I don't know, because Bing Chat came out after September 2021. So Bing Chat is going to give you access to the Bing search index. So anything that Bing knows about is something that you're going to be able to ask about. From an educational perspective, I think this is great. I mean, you saw the chart from last month. It was comical. The number of users using this stuff, like compared to like the internet, right? It was like just a vertical line that doesn't even look real. And so having access to not only like, here we go. So that having access to GPT-4, having access to current data, and your A3 and your A5 users literally already own it. There's nothing that you need to do. There's nothing you need to buy. They don't have to sign anything or go buy anything. It's already going to be there. So I think that's very powerful. So switching over to a teacher user here. One of the things that I'll address that Marge had brought up is if you went to bing.com/chat earlier, I was getting an error message that said that it wasn't available for me. It wasn't available for my work account. And if I were really curious and persistent, I could go sign up for an MSA using my same work email address, which is always fun. However, I was able to click the Bing sidebar, and it would load here. And that, I don't know. Do you think that kind of jump started things? Like in your experience, what did you run into?
So I actually ran into it on there was actually a Windows SKU, which I think I referenced last time on Education or Pro for education devices. We actually enforced Safe Search Strict, which was impacting BCE, and so it would redirect me back to bing.com/chat on the consumer side. But that's actually been resolved, I believe, by the Bing team, and so I'm not able to repro that issue. But for me, it just took time, 48 hours, and it eventually cleared up.
Well, the best kinds of problems are the problems that the engineering team fixes before you have time to reproduce it. So
exactly.
I'm all about that. So you're going to get notifications. You're going to get this little pill up here that's going to let you know you are currently in a protected state while you're using Bing Chat Enterprise. This is the signal for your users to recognize that they are in BCE. You're also going to get some more content down here on the next to the prompt bar. And one of the things that I think that's pretty cool is you're actually going to get some EDU specific ideas, to get started. Create a 1-hour lesson plan for introducing genetics to high school students. So this is, showing that this is an EDU leaning version of Bing Chat Enterprise specifically designed for faculty and staff, right? One little, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna be daring. I'm gonna trust the demo gods. I'm gonna go with this, and we're just gonna see what happens. Tell me in the chat. I know some of you know this. What do you think I call that menu? So proper people would call that an ellipsis. Boring people would call that an ellipsis. But it's 3 little dots, and every time I ever give a demo. Nope, somebody said hamburger. They're close. It's the meatball menu. So anytime you're looking for more options, Anna got it right. Nick Miller, sorry, you got it wrong. Anytime you're looking for more options, like look, it actually said it right there when I hovered over it. The meatballs gives you more options. When you're looking at the Bing sidebar, if you click the meatballs and go into, oh, no, I lied. You're going to go to the cog and go into the settings. You have a few options here for how Bing Chat, the sidebar, can interact with what you're doing. Now, this particular control is turned off by default. Now, we said that Bing Chat Enterprise does not interact with your Microsoft 365 data, and that is true. You cannot go into Bing Chat Enterprise and say, please make me a PowerPoint presentation based off of this 10-word document or 10-page Word document that I have. That's the power of Copilot in Microsoft 365. However, we can kind of work around a little bit of stuff, and you can slide this toggle on, and now the Bing sidebar has permission to look at what you're currently viewing in your web browser. So that is a capability that's there for you. This is the part where I am going to be so trusting. We're going to see what happens. I have a PDF file. It's going to work. Garrett says it's going to work. If it doesn't work, it's Garrett's fault. We have a document, and I want you to take a look at where this document is. This is not in the cloud. This is sitting in, it is in the cloud in the sense that it's in my OneDrive, but this is referencing a local path. This is a local path on my computer. This is an essay that I did not write on CRISPR in agriculture. And so I'm going to ask Bing Chat Enterprise, summarize this document into its top 5 points. And we'll see what it does. Usually you'll get a little card that will say that you can zero it in and tell it to only reference information that's on the current page that you're looking at. However, Garrett was right. It did work. It is reading the PDF file that I currently have open, and it is giving me information and summarizing it for me really quickly. So if you tried this with some documents, you know, give it a try. Give it a try and see what you think. I did try it with a massive spreadsheet. Had a little bit of an issue. You know, Joe and I were talking about it, theorizing that, you know, maybe I just fed it too much and it couldn't handle it. But I'm talking like several thousands of rows of data. So not something I would judge it too harshly for. However, I have used this personally for things like, those of you who don't know, you can generate a transcript of any audio using Microsoft Word online. I love that feature. Use it when I do podcasts. So I take the MP3, I upload it into Microsoft Word. It spits out a Word document. I export that Word document as a PDF file. I just turn right back around and open up that PDF file in Edge. I ask Bing to summarize it in the top 5 things that Joe and I talked about. And then I say, now write me a LinkedIn newsletter. And yeah, it makes my life a lot easier. So being able to turn that on, remember going into the gear, going into the settings of Bing Chat and flipping this on. This is off by default. It was off by default in every experience that I had. So that's something you might want to take note of and tell your faculty and staff about. I think, man, we ran out of time already. I knew that was going to eat up 30 minutes.
I did too. I did too. So I actually have a deck that's got some common troubleshooting steps and some additional resources. Dewayne mentioned the learning modules and some of those things. We'll publish that PDF along with this recording so that you all have that and take a look. But again, go explore this, take a look at this, because I think even for us at Microsoft, we're also learning this, right? This is new for everyone. We're understanding what the power behind this is. But if you start here, I think this is going to set you all up for success on how we can start using the other copilots that are coming in the future, whether that be M365 Copilot, Security Copilot, etc. So if you haven't started playing with it, go play with it now. Get it enabled in your tenant. Again, September 21st is the deadline where it'll be auto-enabled for your tenant and turned on by default. So start familiarizing yourself with it now. And thanks everyone for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. I love the remix. Thank you,
Awesome
everybody.
info.
It was really fantastic. Love the demo. We will see you all next week. Have a wonderful rest of your work week, and I'm kicking you out.
Oh, I will say next week. Yes.
Yeah, go, Victoria.
Next week, since there's a lot of questions about AI and Copilot and all these conflicting terms, next week we will address the modern work section of AI, M365 Copilot, Teams Premium, what the overlap is in those different areas. So you'll get a piece of the pie
awesome.
as far as all of the AI things that we're bringing out.
I
So
didn't
see you all
remember
next
off
week.
the top of my head, so I'm so glad that you remembered, because that is a kick-ass topic. So
Yeah, it's
hopefully
because
we
it's
see
my
everyone.
week. That's the only reason.
Wow.
That
So
doesn't mean I'm
Victoria,
listening.
next week. Heck
Love
yeah.
it. Love it. All right, y'all. We'll see you soon. Bye.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.